Hi there, my name is Natalia Castillo. Today, I'm going to be presenting my fashion line project on the Italian Renaissance. Hope you guys enjoy. To begin, I first started off by creating a mood board that I thought would help me feel more inspired, but also more educated and understand the different garment pieces, the details found within the garments, the different fabrics, as well as a color palette that would help me come up with an overall collection. Okay, so here we have the mood board I created. About the different fabrics that were used during the Italian Renaissance times. Wool and silk were the primary fabrics that were woven in Italy. Many Renaissance painters depicted these fabrics so that one can identify them as being satins, cut velvet, brocade, and plain velvet. Those four, I'd say, were the top fabrics that were constantly being used in both men and women's clothing garments. From top to bottom, let's start with the hair. Younger men cut their hair in medium to longer lengths. Gradually, they were from below the ears in front to about the shoulders in the back. Older men usually had their hair a bit shorter than the younger men. Women's hair parted in the front, usually in the center. Soft waves framed the face, and the bulk of the hair was usually pulled back or knotted on top of the head. A distinctive Italian headdress for women was large, round, beehive shape. One type of style or decorative element was very, very popular back then. This was called the farinere, a type of headband that encircles the wearer's forehead. It usually had like a small jewel that was suspended in the middle. So a common element in women's fashion was décolletage, an exposed neckline. The camicia was an Italian word for men's shirt and women's chemises. It was usually worn as an undergarment, and the shirts were visible at the edges or openings of the outermost garments. You would also see the camicia poking through the different sleeves for both men and women. The sleeves were very, very decorative and very unique. Partlet was basically a sleeveless garment that was worn over the neck and shoulders. So a woman's dress often had a V-shaped waistline, and they had inner and outer skirt layers. Now, chop-ines were these high platform shoes. I describe them as being both awkward but also very practical. They serve the purpose of keeping the wearer's feet from getting wet or soiled in the city's perpetually damp byways, and they were also used to signal her elevated social status. These shoes could be up to a good 18 to 22 inches in height. Okay, so moving on to articles of clothing for men. The doublet was basically a chief upper garment, a close-fitting, waisted, padded jacket that was usually worn over the camisia. The hose is basically any of various styles of men's clothing for the legs and lower body. One thing that was very important for men was the codpiece, used to cover up the genitals. So the final piece to really tie in a typical Italian man's clothing of the time would be a pair of pointed toes. Okay, so now I will be showing you guys my 5-look fashion line collection. With this collection, I was aiming towards accurately demonstrating the Italian Renaissance fashion. So, here we go. Here we have the first side of the board. This side has the 3 looks, front and back, of the women.
So the first design is this beautiful red and gold theme. This particular hairstyle had like a bun on the back of the head, and in the front you can see some of like the hairs that were left out, that were kind of wavy. It's called the chignon. On top of the hair we have this beautiful band of pearls, which was the fair, and paired with that I decided to give a pearl necklace. Moving down, we have this square-shaped neckline. As an undergarment, we have the chemise. I decided to pair it up with this trim. The ruffle that it gave I thought was perfect to try to represent and recreate what's going on right here. Then, as a fun trim, I decided to incorporate this beautiful gold little lining that separates both the undergarment piece and the outer, and it'd be like a fun way to combine all of it together. So I'd added it right here, and then I also decided to put some of the trim by the waist and down here with the skirt to blend both the inner and the outer skirts together. And here is the trim that I found. It's a beautiful, beautiful design that has these beautiful roses and this fun little curvy type of gold trim at the edge. For the outside of this dress, which you can see I used a lot of, was this beautiful red fabric. Very shiny, soft, and I thought it gave like a good idea of what this dress could have possibly been made out of. So like I was saying, this red fabric right here was used right here, all on the back and on the front. And we have this wonderful diamond shaped type of fabric that has these cute little flowers. I put fabric right here in the inner skirt and right here on the sleeves, as you can see. Then to finish off, I decided to pair this dress with these choppings. It came in a variety of different sizes. Some of them would be like those extreme, really, really big, long shoes, and sometimes they'd be like a little bit more easier to walk in. So that's the type that I decided to give her. I wanted to give her like a nice white and red pair that matched very well with the theme of this dress. Now let's move on to the second one. look number 2 has a green theme. So here we can see the different fabrics that I use. We have this beautiful green. We have the white ruffly looking trim and the gold trim. These two were commonly used in a lot of my designs. So here we have, like I said, the front and the back illustrations of the green outfits. From the top, this girl has the B-shaped headdress. Then we have right here the net partlet, like a green belt. This sleeve in particular, this style had the chemise out, so you could see it poking through at times. And you could also see like the green fabric out with it. So it created this beautiful, intricate design that I really, really liked. And then at the bottom, I paired her with the high version of the chop vines. And I decided to make them like a fun, yellowy, goldish type color to match with the theme that I have of the gold peeking through. I also wanted to give her a fun pearl necklace and a pendant. Pendants during the Italian Renaissance were super duper popular. Moving on, we've got the third look. Okay, so this girl right here is wearing at the top of her head draped raida. It's basically like this type of hairnet that was worn hanging down along the sides of the head. I decided to make it a nice blue color to match our blue theme, and I put her hair in this fun braid. Here was the gold trim, which once again I have right here. And kind of like the other two designs, I really wanted them to really help blend and make the look really like feel like it's all tying together. And then the sleeves, once again, have that ruffled trim. It was, like I said, the chemise poking through at both here and on the sleeves. And then we have this diamond blue, and I added that solely on the sleeve. So then we have this really fun embroidered rich golden yellow fabric. I decided to incorporate right here down the middle. And then we have right here this beautiful blue that I used for the entirety of the dress, for the rest of it, both the front and the back. Okay, we will now be moving on to the back of the board. This guy, who has a black, gold, and white, and a little bit of red theme going on here. He is wearing this beautiful doublet, which fans out into a skirt. He is also wearing this hat that was called the muffin hat back then. Sometimes people would pair them with like a feather on the side as well. And he has a few fun decorative elements. So on his doublet, you can see this little trim that I decided to put on both sides here. And that would basically be this one. Very pretty fun design with the gold and the white and the black flowers. And then we have this pendant. Right here we have the gold trims on his skirt, which you can see from this pattern. The hose, top is white, and the bottom is this yellow. And then on the sleeves, that was also a similar dealio. And then also, he has the codpiece. He also was wearing a pair of pointed shoes. Okay, and then on this side, we have the final guy. back, you can see a little bit of a ruffle collar. And we have this beautiful red cape. Sometimes they poke through over the shoulders, sometimes they have it all the way on. You can see the wonderful embroidered yellow golden fabric that I used for this doublet. And then here on the bottom part, you can also see a little bit of black. We have the hose. In this version, party color. One side was one color and the other side was a different color. So for the left side, we have green and we have this blue. At the bottom, then we have another version of the pointed toes shoes.
Okay, so here we have it. We have both the front and the back illustrations for both men and female. This was a really fun project for me. I hope you guys learned something new today. I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation, and yeah, have a wonderful day.